I covered the Nigerian tax reforms and how it affects you and I as solopreneurs and creators. In this video, we're now going to cover how to legally pay less taxes by structuring our business properly and using provisions given to us by law. The video will be broken down into 3 parts. 1, understanding Nigerian limited liability companies, company formation, and then how to actually use your limited liability company to legally pay less taxes. There are about 7 types of companies you can create in Nigeria, and I'm not going to be breaking down all these types of companies one by one. If you want the full in-depth guide on each structure, I will leave a link in the description to a detailed blog post on our website where everything will be explained comprehensively. But for now, let's focus on the 2 most important structures for solopreneurs and small to medium scale businesses. Now, the first structure of business is the sole proprietorship, or what we know in Nigeria as business name registration. A sole proprietorship is the simplest and the most common business structure in Nigeria. It's just you and running your business under a business name. So you simply have a DBA, a doing business as name. And the issue with this type of structure is that there is no limited liability. So you and your business are essentially one and the same for legal and tax purposes. And what that means is if you are sued, or if the business is sued, you are sued. If the government taxes the business, they are taxing you. So you're paying your taxes based on the personal income tax structure. There is no corporate income tax for you because you're not a proper business. You're just a sole proprietor who has a business name. The sole proprietorship structure is great for testing business ideas, and for starting small operations if you're a freelancer or maybe a remote worker and you just want something that appears legit. You need a business name that appears legit. You can use it to create bank accounts. People you work with may not know the fact that you don't have an LLC, because you can have accounts in that business name and appear like a properly registered business. But taking it a step further, we have the private limited company, and often shortened as LTD. And this is the second most popular structure for small businesses. And unlike a business name, an LTD company is a completely separate legal entity. It can own assets, it can enter into contracts, it can be sued and sue other people, all independent of the owner, which is the most important thing. Now, if the company is being sued, that suit is only for the company. The personal assets of the owner or owners of the company will not be touched. Same goes for taxation. If the company is being taxed by the government, it's a completely different structure of taxation, which is the corporate income tax and other kinds of taxation policies that surrounds companies, that is completely different from the personal income tax that will be applied to the owner's personal income. And so because the new tax reforms allows small companies to operate up to 50 million without paying corporate income tax, that's how you as a solopreneur can use that to essentially pay less taxes legally. So now that we understand the difference between the business name and then the limited liability company, we can now talk about the formation of your LLC. And for me, I recommend using Prosper. The reason why I recommend using Prosper for creation of your LTD in Nigeria is because there are not a lot of companies that help people create companies or LTDs in Nigeria. And when I was doing mine, I almost got scammed by somebody, because usually there are individuals who maybe are legal practitioners or CPAs, tax practitioners, who will try to use their knowledge to help you create these things. And I almost got scammed by an individual who was trying to help me create my company LTD. And it's not quite, it's quite complex in Nigeria to do it for some weird reason. It's not as straightforward as it is with something like a US LLC that I showed you guys how to create on the channel here. So I do like the fact that there is a company like Prosper that will take away the burden from you, and then you can deal with a company rather than dealing with an individual. I also recommend Prosper because it's the one I have used and the process was very smooth. And they also have great customer support. And then also you have a dashboard where you can create bank accounts, you can create current accounts, you can completely manage your business, you can pay suppliers, you can pay contractors, you can pay employees, plus a suite of other business tools that you can use to simply and easily manage your business. And also, very importantly, you don't need to rely on the messy bank statements for accurately filing your taxes. Your records are cleanly documented on your Prosper dashboard, which is something you won't get from individuals that will help you form your company. I need to mention that this video is not sponsored and I am not even an affiliate with Prosper. So the link you will click in the description at the time of making this video is not even an affiliate link. It's a service that I've used, and that's the reason why I am recommending them. So before I take you to my screen and we start to do some things hands-on, we need to answer the question, who should register a company? Because I don't think this should be for everyone. And my answer to that would be, if you earn between 10 million to 50 million naira annually in Nigeria, you might benefit from registering your LTD and reducing your tax burden. Because as you can see here, let's say you earn 24 million naira in Nigeria, which is around in between the 10 to 50 million naira mark. And that would mean you earn about 2 million naira a month. Let's say hypothetically you earn 2 million naira a month. You are going to be paying about 4.5 million naira in taxes, which I think is significant. If you can register an LLC and even reduce that amount, that would be a big win. So this is the Prosper dashboard. You can see there, it looks really clean. It looks simple, and there is my business that's been registered using Prosper. You can see the name there, and I can create accounts. I have current accounts. You can see different accounts here, current accounts. I can create even sub companies or sub accounts under this main account. There's just so much you can do. They have loans. You can do loans. You can get cards. You can check your account statement and download your account statement very clean and be able to sort out your income and expenses and everything in your business. You can create invoices. I think that's coming soon. You can also create teams. You can set up stuff for your team and also employment management and stuff. So there's just a lot that you can do when you form your LLC with Prosper. And I also think that they are quite inexpensive compared to some of the prices I've gotten from individuals who do this for people. Somebody has told me about 250,000 naira to form to help me with the process of creating my LTD here in Nigeria, which was ridiculous. With Prosper, I think it's about 80,000 naira. I did mine a while ago. It's about 80,000. For business name, it was 25,000. For the LTD formation is about 80,000 naira. I don't think you can get any price better than that. They're well priced, and the tools that you get are just amazing. But now moving on to the third and final part of this video, let's now look at how we can, let's assume that you've, like me, you have formed your LLC using Prosper or any other service. You now want to limit your, how do you use the LLC? Or I keep saying LLC, but it's the same thing. Because I have a US LLC, I will keep using the name interchangeably in this video, but they actually mean the same thing. The US LLC is the equivalent of Nigeria's LTD. So same difference. But anyways, let's say you have your LLC or your LTD. How do we now reduce our tax burden using this tool? So the first and most important thing is you need to be keeping proper books. You need to be keeping proper records, and you need to know how money flows into your business and your own personal lifestyle. And if you know this, you can then be able to properly separate your business earnings and spendings from your personal spending. Now, keep in mind that I'm not a tax expert. I am not a finance expert. I'm not a legal practitioner. I am only researching these topics and doing these things for myself. And that's the reason why I often show you my screen, so that you know that I'm not just researching and making videos just for content. I'm actually doing this thing for myself personally. And also in the course of my research and doing this thing for myself, I speak to actual professionals, and all this knowledge is what I gather, hopefully to help somebody who may not have the resources to hire a legal practitioner or somebody, a proper professional. Maybe you want to bootstrap, you can use these videos to help yourself. But it's always advisable for you, before you do anything, you want to do your own research and also consult a proper professional, not a YouTube person like me. Okay, I just wanted to clear that up. In my case, I earn in the foreign currency. I earn mostly in the US dollars, so the money will most likely come through maybe my PayPal or my Stripe account to my Nigerian foreign accounts from, say, Raynest or Gray or Clever or Grabify. I've shown you how to create accounts with all of these platforms, whichever one. So that's the first touch point. Now, once the money comes in there, it now moves into my business account. Then from my business account, I'm now going to pay my team members if I have any employees. I'll pay contractors and suppliers if I have those. And then I'll pay for every other thing I need in my business, and also pay myself a salary as though I were working for my company. Of course you are. So you have to pay yourself a fixed salary every month. And how do you know how much you pay yourself? That's where keeping records is super important. You want to take inventory of your lifestyle to know exactly how much you need to survive, because any money that moves from your business account into your personal account now becomes taxable income. So you cannot just take money from your business account to pay for stuff and then expect the taxman not to raise an eyebrow. Because if you're using money from your, let's say from your Prosper account right now, you're using money from here to pay for stuff like your food, your groceries, paying for every single thing you buy in your house, and thinking, okay, because that's an entity that will not be taxed, I can just use it as my personal account. You will be putting yourself in trouble, because that is commingling funds. If ever you are audited, it will be difficult for you to tell the taxman exactly why you're buying yam and gari and pepper soup from your business account. You want to clearly separate. Pay yourself out of your business account into your personal account the amount of money you need to fund your life. So how do we figure out how much we want to pay ourselves? I have been doing this for the past over 5 years. I've been recording every single transaction I make. And the reason is because I want to know exactly how much I need to fund my lifestyle. So some people, some finance experts will tell you to save 6 to 7 months, or even some people will say 1 year of your living expenses for as an emergency fund. But how do you know how much to save 6 to 7 months or 1 year of living expenses if you don't know exactly how much your living expenses are? So you want to make sure that you keep inventory of everything that you spend. And I have this free finance tracker that you can use to track pretty much everything in your personal life and in your business, so that you can be able to know exactly how much you want to pay yourself from your business. So now, once you have figured out how much you need to survive, and that now becomes your salary. So let's say, for instance, you need 200,000 naira a month to survive, and that will mean your annual income will become, if my math is correct, that will be about 2.4 million naira. And then the next thing you want to do is you want to look at your lifestyle and figure out where there's an overlap between your personal life and your business life. Especially for solopreneurs, there's going to be a lot of places where you find an overlap, so that you can now cover those costs with your business account and record it. You want to also keep proper record it under your business account spending. Let me give you an example. So in this setup right now, you have your food, groceries, your medicals, your cooking gas, and all of that stuff. Those things are personal expenses, and they should come under the amount of money that you're going to pay yourself monthly as salary. Yeah. But if we go for that stuff like rent, we can argue that for somebody like me who works from home, this is my home office. I can put this spending for how much I pay for this space under my company expenses. And stuff like my data that I buy is also company expenses. So instead of paying, sending that money into my personal account, I'm paying for data and rent with my company expenses, with my personal income. I will put that under my company expenses, because there's an overlap. If the taxman asks me, I can absolutely prove that it's a company spending. So you're seeing the idea. So from something like petrol that you buy for your generator, car petrol, from now on, my car is my company asset. Also, as somebody who works from home and a content creator, I'm often buying gears and gadgets for my home office and to review on the channel. Stuff like microphones, I'm often buying chairs and studio desks, speakers, keyboard, mouse, MIDI controllers, and stuff like that. And all of these things will now go under my company assets and paid from my company account. Fueling of my car is company expense. The car maintenance, company expense. Transportation, so home maintenance, it's my home. This place is my office, so it's company expense. So this is how you're bending the rule but not breaking the law. Another thing some people do is, when they want to go on vacation, they can lump that together with a business trip. So maybe they're going to sign up for some type of convention or something they're going for, but actually they're also going to double up and go on a vacation on that same trip. But they're going to register that under their company's expense, because if they pay for that trip, if they fund that trip from their personal income, then they're going to pay personal income tax for that amount of money. So you get the idea. Now let me take you to the tax calculator. So here we are. Let's say, still using my example of, say, I earned 24 million naira in Nigeria. At the end of the day, we found out that from record keeping that our monthly spend is 200,000. That means we only spend, we need 2.4 million naira, and that's what we pay ourselves. So salary, And that means for annual income for 24 million naira, you're going to be paying almost 4.5 million naira, which is about 372,000 naira every single month in taxes, putting you in the tax bracket of 18.63%. But if you remove 10, because we've now we've now used our LLC to limit our tax burden, we're now at 2.4 million. And if we calculate that, you can see that our tax burden have reduced from about 2.5 million to only 240,000 naira in the year. I think the key thing here is you want to make sure that you're not lying, you're keeping proper records, of course, first of all, and then you're also not doing it in a way that you cannot defend. You want to make sure that every spending you're putting under your business is something that's justifiable under business expense. And if you do it properly, you can significantly reduce your tax burden, even though you are earning relatively higher amounts. I know this is a very simplified take on structuring your business as a sole proprietor or a solopreneur to be able to reduce your tax burden, but I think it's very practical. And this is something that I am going to also keep exploring and sharing with you guys tools, resources like Prosper. I'm going to do in-depth tutorials on Prosper and how you can use them. There are some other tools. I know that Wema has a product, Alert for Business, that I'm also looking into, and I'm going to share with you guys how you can use these tools to both invest. You can also go deeper and do stuff like saving while you're keeping your money in your business account. You can also create accounts that will allow you to make money off of your savings that are in your business account, so that it's not just sitting there in your business account and not making you any returns. That's a very simplified take on structure, and if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I will try to answer all of them to the best of my knowledge. Again, this is stuff that I'm researching. I am not a professional. Do your own research. Please ask professionals if you can afford to hire them. And also, if you have any ideas, anything, you can also leave them in the comments. Let's have a civil conversation around this topic as I also explore and make more videos around it. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.